Alright, so I've been given this match where I'm going to be looking at the Juggernaut, and it seems like he has a pretty good game. He's 17-4-10 is actually it's pretty good KD, so but it's still a loss. And it looks like this PA and these three heroes really popped off a bit, and his team was a little lackluster. But let's just take a look into the initial itemization. The first thing I notice is you purchased Mantis style. Mantis style, like after you get this Battle Fury, your next item is going to be a Yasha item. It can be either be Sange and Yasha or it can be Mantis style. Um, Typically as a Juggernaut, I think you really sometimes you really want to get a Mantis style. I think in the previous metas, Mantis style was very much like the go-to item when you're playing Juggernaut. But right now, even in the professional scene, players are trying to lean towards buying Sange and Yasha on Juggernaut for two reasons. And those reasons are, let me bring this up. Those reasons are the Lifesteal Lamp, which you get from your level 20 talent and buffs that extremely, and the status resistance, and you still get the Yasha, stat gain with the movement speed, attack speed, agility, yada yada yada. Also makes you tankier, which as a Juggernaut you can struggle with in the early game. So let's go back to this. So this game, let's look at whether or not you should have bought a Mantis style or Sage and Yasha. Mantis style should only be bought if there's something that you want to be purged that is game threatening. So you can purge maybe this guy's slow. You can purge Goo, Stifling Dagger, nothing from her, and nothing from her. Another thing you want to look at is itemization. There's no one building Orchid. That's a kill threat to you. So most likely you want to go towards Sange and Yasha rather than Mantis style for this game. So next item you go for is Casual Ultimate War. Maybe you were thinking about purchasing a Lincoln's and you decided not to. And then you went towards Butterfly. Generally, this is a pretty good item on Jug. Usually this is kind of it takes a lot of skill to know when you want to build a Butterfly. Usually it's a pacing item. And what I mean by that is if you take a look at your enemies and what they're building, you know that one, this guy doesn't want to build an MKB, right? It's not in his itemization pool. He doesn't want to do that. Either is it for PA because she wants to get other items. She wants to get maybe like a nullifier. She wants to get an Aghanim scepter. So by you building this item is actually a very good choice because none of these three heroes want to build this. But what I'm curious and what I don't remember about this game is whether or not you build a Silver's Edge. The Silver Edge is very strong in the meta right now. I think Mickey builds it on Juggernaut. The Racho builds it on Juggernaut. I think every hero, every player, pro player builds it on Juggernaut. And they build it when they don't even have anything to break in the game because it gives you mobility and it gives you attack speed and damage and crit. And it makes you extremely evasive to the enemy because if it's low cooldown, it's low off cooldown. And in this game, you not only have, the great stats of, Silver Edge, but you also have three good heroes to break it on. I mean, this isn't like an extreme break, but you definitely don't want her evasion. You definitely don't want his passive to make him extremely tanky. Another thing that Silver Edge also helps Juggernaut with is the mobility. Juggernaut's one of his issues is mobility. And Silver Edge allows you to position yourself a lot better in a fight to take it on. So let's see if you win it. You win MKB, which is okay. Um, Against the PA, but Silver Edge would have been a lot better for the reason I just talked about. So you did build a Silver Edge. So in my opinion, I think you should have either went Silver Edge or MKB. I don't think you should get both. I think MKB is a decent item. I think you need other items in this game in order to pop off. Like, in my opinion, you probably could have gone Scotty possibly, since this guy built a heart, and Scotty will be able to lower, like he can slow the region of this heart. It also helps with lifesteal against her, and she also has a heart, and he has a heart, and it allows you to deal with kiting, so people can't kite you as much. Or you can go Nullifier, which would be able to purge Glimmer Cape. It can purge Press the Attack. It can purge uh, PA's Blink. What I mean by that, if PA blinks and you have Nullifier on her, she won't get the attack speed. If you nullify the Lich and he glimmers, he won't glimmer anymore. Another big thing is that he's Lich Frost Shield. That does a lot of minus physical damage. It's like 70% physical damage or something. That's terrible. So like if you're trying to kill this PA and she's almost dead and you just get Frost Shield and just lives, that's terrible. So Nullifier is very strong. So in theory, Monkey King Bar is very good because you're dealing with PA, but you also need the slot for you need that slot for an item that you're gonna need later in that game. So like I said, Nullifier, Scotty, or Swift Blink. So you could have chosen from those three. Scotty, you may not need, but Swift Blink's pretty nice. And eventually you're gonna get Agnum Scepter and build it into Blessing, but this is just thinking in the really, really late game, which this goes into eventually. Okay, so you get the Agnum Scepter, and the game ends, and you have a really good KD, and you're like, how did I lose this game? I played perfect. Was it my team's fault? Well, let's take a look into it. Look at the scoreboard. So this is a 53-minute game, and you had 517 last hits. That's pretty decent. It's pretty decent. Typically, if you are, I'm going to say typically a lot. I know I get made fun of it, but when you're playing carry, what you want to go for is 10 last hits per minute. If you get anything above 10 last hits per minute, just like you can pat yourself on the back and say, I farmed efficiently. That's one of the other things we're going to look at. Is we're going to make sure that you're farming efficiently in your lane. And going into the mid game, see how you abuse space and how you understand threats. All right, let's get into it. So starting items, what I notice is you go slippers, circlet, two branches, tangos, quelling blade. I don't think this is a bad build personally. But what I've seen Mickey do and what I've seen Duracho do is in lanes, and especially in this lane, because you're going to Bristleback, they won't go the circlet or they won't get the slippers. They'll primarily be rushing. They'll this is what the items look like: quelling blade, two iron branches, tangos, and stick. Because they're more worried about sustainability, and they're not necessarily going to need those stats in the lane because your damage is going to be coming from your Blade Fury. In this lane, you're most likely playing against a Bristleback, which is known to spam these, spam abilities, which is really good to have a stick for. After that, these players will then go for treads because of its cost efficiency on stats and move speed, and then they will build straight into either wand and to Battle Fury or just straight Battle Fury and skip the wand. And what this does is it allows them to escape the map faster. And what I mean by that is that they don't have to sit in lane and hit creeps nearly as long as they should when they don't have a Battle Fury, and that causes them to be exposed to certain dangers on the map. Once they get Battle Fury, they can go to lane. They can hit that lane in 3 seconds, leave, go back here, camp, 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 run back, hit the lane, camp, camp, camp. And allows them to farm more efficiently and get items faster. And buying something like a Wraith Band, which is 500 gold, is 500 gold that isn't being put towards their Battle Fury. So it's just 500 gold slower, which if you're having 500 gold per minute, that means you're going to be having your Battle Fury not for another minute. So typically, it's more about personal preference. If this is how you prefer to play Juggernaut, then I think it's fine. But in this game, when you're playing against a Bristleback, or if you're playing against a Skywrath, or you're playing against an Undying, heroes who spam a lot of spells in the early stage, Pugna, I would suggest the stick build. Obviously, you do well in your lane, so let's see what you've done. First thing here is you notice that heroes are beefing over here, so you know that there's at least 4 or 3 heroes here. You should run back and get this rune, even if there's a Bristleback there. Because believe it or not, you're stronger than this Bristleback. If you hit him a couple of times, maybe 4 or 5 times, and he's hit you 4 or 5 times, you can spin and kill. The thing about Bristleback that most people misconcept about him is that they think he's stronger than what he actually is. So I would have traded, and then if the Bristleback's smart, he backs off. If not, he stays there and he dies. And for you coming here to get these runes, this rune, it allows your team to also get this rune and this rune because it looks like they're winning the fight as well. One thing I have that you probably would be useful to turn on in settings, and I don't know if you have it on settings, but let me find it. This is helpful for blocking. Where is it at? Auto repeat Mart Mouse. This is very useful for blocking creeps. What you do is you just hold down right click and you slowly move it forward and going back and forth like this, and then you'll be able to block creeps a lot better. So your CSing is actually very strong from what I can tell. So I think you're not really noticing about the range creep. When you pull back the aggro, so you're very aware of how aggro works in this game, but when you pull back aggro of the creeps to your own range creep because you don't want to take harass from the Marauder, or you don't want to take the harass from the Bristleback, you want to make sure that this range creep that you're going to leave behind on the other side needs to be accounted for. So there's little tricks that you can do that you can actually, deal with that a little bit better. But I'll show you in my famous MS Paint. There we go. So I'm gonna draw the lane a bit. So this is the tower. This is you. These are the creeps. These are the 3 melee. 1 range. So you're the Juggernaut. And enemy heroes here and here. So you aggro the creeps to bring all of these creeps over to you. And allows you to have safe farm because it's closer to your tower, and that's an amazing idea. But what happened when you pull those creeps is that these creeps go straight to the range creep. And you're in a position in the lane where you can actually contest this range creep. The range creep provides a lot of experience and a lot of gold compared to the melee creeps. So you should communicate with your support and be like, okay, help me secure this range creep. You can, at the same time, you also have to account for making sure that this range creep also gets denied. So you want to make sure you secure this creep and then deny this creep. So there's a trick that I like to do is that when you do the aggro, you aggro to the range creeps, and then these creeps go forward. What you can do is walk this way, walk past these creeps, take aggro again. Then the creeps that are over here will walk towards you. They'll stop attacking the range creep. Make sure you don't let those creeps hit you. As you do it, you go up, get this last hit, then these 3 creeps will go back to hitting this creep and allow you time to deny. If you were to watch like how I play typically in lane, like if I stream or anything, you should 100% watch my streams. You can learn a lot from that my streams just for free, like just for free. You can just watch. But I love to do this. I love to do this in the mid lane. I love to do this in the safe lane. It's a great way to secure this CS, deny this CS. I don't want you to do this, however, if you're in a losing lane. If you're in a losing lane where the two enemy laners are very punishing, and you don't have the way to deal with their punishing behavior, then you need to be careful of doing this play because you will take a lot of damage and you don't want to take a lot of damage for it. There's also different ways to aggro these creeps without having these creeps go over here. One of those ways is when you aggro these creeps, I want you to come up, let the creeps hit you once. And what will happen is that since the creeps hit you once, your creeps will then hit these creeps that have been pulled, and they won't go all the way over here. And if you're good enough, you can make it so that when you aggro these creeps and pull them back this way, you can still have them hit the range creep and get a deny. This will take a lot of practice. It will take a lot of observation of other players doing it and a good understanding of aggro mechanics. This is a fantastic way of securing the range deny while staying safe and not making sure that this gets killed and then the lane push out. All right, let's go back into the lane. First thing I'm noticing is like your gold isn't really being purchased. I don't know if you know how to do this, but how you can shift Q items into appear right here is you press shift then control, you click an item, click an item, click an item, and it'll appear in that order to buy. So what I want you to do as a carry, so you don't forget about buying an item, because every item that you buy is a huge power spike in your lane, is I need you to shift Q your items before game. So this game, you should probably shift Q. You should shift Q stick, boot to speed, treads, maybe wand, and then battle fury. Because the earlier you stick, the more charges you get on it. And this hero loves to use spells. So this is great damage. This is very great damage. Let's look back at what happened. So you understood that you have a power spike, and you understood that Bristleback is not strong right now. He is level 1 and he has Quill Spray. He does not have his Bristleback. So that was a very aware play of you to actually go on him and spin. It's a aware play for your Dark Willow to go on him, and you execute this perfectly. You have to understand that when you're in a lane as a carry, you need to understand what the offlaner's weak points are as a hero. When they're weak in lane, when you're strong in lane. As Juggernaut, you're good every odd level, meaning you're good level 1, 3, and 5, because you get to put a point in your Blade Fury and do an outstanding amount of damage. Whereas Bristleback, he is also good at 1, 3, and 5, because he can put a point into Quill Spray and do more damage, almost double. But what Bristleback is bad at is he is terrible at level 1 because he doesn't have Bristleback if he goes Quill Spray first. So by you going on him here, you inadvertently knew that he was very weak in this lane at level 1. And getting this kill is crucial in your lane. If you don't get this kill at level 1 and he gets level 2 and he lives, your lane goes a different way. Also doesn't help the fact that he has very bad items. So good kill. I like okay, so this is actually very good of you. You probably understand creep equilibrium in lane to pretty good extent. It's very, like, you understand that the lane is pushed out and you need to have it come this way, so you start aggro denying. Aggro denying designs experience from the Bristleback, but most importantly, it's going to bring this this creeps back to here. Your Dark Willow isn't really pulling for you, but there's nothing you really do about that. But I'm glad you're aggro denying. Your CSing is very strong. Okay, so at this point, as a carry, I've done this many times. This camp is completely unblocked for some reason. I think your support thought this was blocking the large camp. But as a carry and as a carry and you see these two heroes shoved into tower like this, and you don't see your support hitting this, you take yourself over here and hit this camp, and then bring it to your creeps so you can fix creep equilibrium and deny them a wave of experience and give you space in the lane. So let's go back to MS Paint again. So this is here, camp's here. Boop, 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 boop. And you get the troll summoners, whatever. So you are here. These are all the creeps. You just shove the creeps in the tower like this. Bristleback is now alive, along with Marana. Or Lich, I think it's a Marana. And now you kind of don't have anything to do in lane. You're like, I'm just going to wait for the creeps. Typically as a carry, you want to, take that time and be like, okay, I don't want to be nothing. There's something I can do here. So what you could have done is as these creeps are moving forward, like this, when it gets to this point in the tower, you hit, so you go over here, you hit this camp, bring it this way, and they get intercepted, and they go into large camp, and then these creeps will go all the way up here into your tower, and that's a free wave without harass. And while your Dark Will also sits here and contests this wave and probably gets a CS or two and experience and lots of damage on the enemy heroes because, you guys are in favor of the large camp pool. It's a very important play that a lot of carries don't even do, even in my rank, for some reason, is they never pull their large camp for themselves and brings it over here. Anyways, so whenever you're laning, whether it's in the mid lane, it's in the safe lane, or if it's in the off lane, I want you to envision these creeps as a barrier. Like, they're a wall. They're protecting you. This enemy right here, or this enemy right here, should not pass this wall. If they pass this wall, unless they're, like, extremely strong, they should not, like, you should right-click them. You should attack them, because what happens is, let's say you attack them, one, you're further away from the creeps, so the creeps will aggro onto you and you won't take more damage. But what happens is that if he decides to aggro onto you, these creeps right here will immediately start attacking him. Let's say if he was over here and you go to attack him and he attacks you, these creeps have to take like half a second to a second to go around these creeps to go and attack him, and that's very important time. It's very important in the lane, is that aggro time. They don't have the time to go around these creeps. Right here, they start attacking instantly. So you should have probably attacked him there. So obviously, if you had maybe level 2 Blade Fury, you could have killed him there. It is what it is. Another thing I've noticed is that you haven't bought an item. I mean, you have 1,100 gold. If you had a stick here, you probably could have kept chasing because you had stick charges. Or if you had boots here, you probably could have kept chasing because you could run him down. But it's highly important, and I know a lot of players at lower ranks do this, is they forget to buy items, or I don't know what the deal is. But you need to buy items and vary it too. Let's go back at this. Whenever you're running away from someone at low HP like this, you need to seek fog immediately. Seek the trees. So you took a path this way. What you need to do is take a path through this way. and set your healing ward inside these trees. And if you're good at microing this healing ward, it won't die and it will heal you. And what this will allow you, this is what this will do for you is one, hide you, and two, it'll allow the Mirana to get hit. Like it'll be allow the Mirana to die to this Dark Will essentially. So as this Mirana is wasting time chasing you through the trees, the Dark Will is hitting the Mirana. You might even be able to turn. So seek trees immediately. So you buy your items. Still no stick. You should 100% go stick. Stick's a very good item, especially against bristleback. But you're killing this lane still with CSing. I'll take you a long way as a carry. Another thing you want to do in this lane is you're letting these range creeps attack you the entire time you're under tower. And I don't know if you know this, but if you A-clip on a creep and you're behind a creep, these creeps will stop attacking you. And just by this, you've lost like 70 HP or something. So, in this instance, you see your Dark Will gonna run down, and you also have 2 creeps under tower, and they're range creeps. Unless you know you can kill these heroes, you focus on the range creeps. You can't kill these heroes. She'll leap away, he has too much HP, and you have level 1 Blade Fury. So in this instance, you need to posture yourself over here like you're doing good, but you need to still CS. You missed 2 range creeps, and they're a lot of gold. So this is a little bit minor as well, is you let these melee creeps go under tower. What you want to do is, since you have control of these melee creeps, you need to bring them out of tower. Because if these die, this lane will go from right here to down here again. And that favors the offlaners tremendously. Because think about it. If you're an offlaner, and let's say you're playing Jug, right? And you're playing Bristleback, and you're level 3, and this Jug you're playing against is like level 5, or, you know, you're level 2, and Jug is level 3. And the lane is right here. If it's right here, as a Bristleback, and as a Jug, you want to kill this Bristleback, you can run at this Bristleback for this entire duration until he gets to his tower. And the reason that this Bristleback is so far up in lane is because the creeps are right here. So your goal as the carry is to make sure that what I call the creep equilibrium, and a lot of players call it creep equilibrium, is to keep the creeps as close to this tower as you can for your safety and for the lack of the offlaner safety. What this also does, and what I mean by your safety, is that you only have to run right here to escape any potential death. So if the offlaner is good, he has the same goal in mind. He wants to make sure that these creeps are pulled this way. And that's why this large camp is so important, is because if the offlaner gets a pull off like this, then, you know, you can't do anything about it. They pull the creeps in, your creeps go all the way over here, they'll keep it in front of the tower, and now the lane is over here, and you're just sad because as a safe laner, you're gonna die. Okay, now you got your stick. It's a little late, but take it. So, it's like a Juggernaut. So as a Juggernaut, I don't know if you box or or you're familiar with boxing, but I kind of see Juggernaut in lane as kind of like throwing a bunch of jabs. You have this Blade Dance, which is really nice, and you have pretty good stats. So whenever you're this Bristleback, like right, let's see, where did I see it? Right here. Jab him. What I mean by jab him, right click him. Get some right clicks in, back off. Get some right clicks in, back off. Like, you're not losing anything from it. As long as you're not taking a bunch of damage from creeps and you're not committing. then you're putting him in a more of a position to die because he's getting lower HP, so that kill threshold is getting closer. What I mean by kill threshold is you want him to get to an HP where you can kill him. So like if he gets down to like, I don't know, probably like 550, then you'll be able to kill him with both your guys' spells and your Blade Fury. So by you right-clicking him brings him closer to that. It's like right here, he shouldn't be able to do that. He's not that strong. Throw some pot shots at him, and if he wants to stay, as long as you don't overextend your stay with Quill Spray, you'll be fine. Be careful how you use your healing ward, because you're playing against a ranged hero that can leap. And that healing ward is 75 gold. So only really use a healing ward when you're in tower, or if you're good at microing and you can micro it away and bait the Mirana in. Okay, so at this point, what I'm curious, and I don't know this, is if you go at level 5, you go 2 points into your healing ward. Because at this point, it seems that you're no longer the strongest in the lane, and that you're going to have to go jungle at some point because this bristleback is going to run you down. Even though he's going horrendous items. Sorry. But by going level 2 in this, allows you to sustain jungle a bit better in case you have to go jungle. And you also have Dire, the Dire side, which Dire side is amazing for jungling because of the new buff to the health regen over here. So you're not under any immediate kill threat as this hero. So you shouldn't be scared to go up and secure this range CS because you're not going to die. Like Bristleback is going to kill you like Finger of Death would. He's going to kill you over 20 seconds or 10 seconds or something. So you going up to hit this shouldn't be an issue. And it's very important that you hit it. You can even cut this tree if it makes it easier for you. Like I said, you need to be careful with your healing ward. And what it seems like you're doing is you're just selecting all to like move the healing ward. What I suggest doing is go to tab, go to hotkeys, next unit, and set either the tab or some other button, and what this will do is it will cycle through your units. So as Jug, you only have 2 units, your Jug and the healing ward. So if you press tab, you can move the healing ward around, and you go press tab again, and you're back to your hero. So, or you can press another button to select your hero, which is right here. Select the hero, and I'll just select your hero. Another thing you can do in this lane, which he has an option as a carry here, is do what I call shove the lane, meaning you aggro right click these creeps down, and you go jungle. And what this will allow you to do is not only do you get gold and experience from this one wave, but you also get gold and experience from this. And you're not going to miss out on another wave here. Even if they hold it in front of the tower right here, you can clear this, and then you'll be even. It's all about being efficient. So you see Legion comes top, and I'm actually very impressed that you stay in lane because that's actually a good choice. What most players will do is they'll see the Legion come into lane and they'll be like, oh no, it's a Legion mid laner, I'm gonna run back. What you do is you said, okay, the Legion used duel. I'm fine to hit the creeps. She doesn't have immediate kill threat on me. So you go jungle now. That's very good. You should always be looking back in lane. If you're hitting jungle, look back in lane. You need to understand that, like, okay, these creeps are about to go under my tower. I need to be ready to go back. Be careful how you spend. It's a lot of mana. Okay, that's perfect. Absolutely perfect. I don't know if you communicate to your team to TP. That's what happens. And you get a lucky Omni Slash that goes on a Mirana, and you're able to live. Bait them back to tier 2 tower, and you kill them both. That is perfect of you to do. So at this point, though, my immediate thought as this Juggernaut right now is I just killed both of them. I'm having a rough lane. I can't show on lane because I'm going to die. But you just killed both of them. What I would do immediately is run back to lane, kill these creeps, shove these creeps as far as you can. And if this Bristleback responds, you immediately go jungle. You try and get the most out of lane as you can because lane creeps are worth a lot more gold and a lot more experience for the amount of time you put into them than jungle creeps do. So your goal is carry throughout the entire game as playing carry is figuring out a way of trying to greedily kill creeps while balancing the safety of yourself. Because if you're hitting creeps, you're in vision of the enemy heroes. But they are worth so much more gold and so much more XP for the amount of time they take to clear. So at this stage of the game, when you're kind of getting in the mid game, you need to make sure when you're hitting creeps, you're doing it in a safe fashion. Usually a good item timing for Battle Fury is around 13 or 14 minutes. Like if it's really good, it's 12 minutes, maybe 11. So okay, I like this. This is what I was talking about balancing. I was gonna wonder if you're gonna come back to the lane or not, because some people can be really trapped in the jungle. When you're jungling, you only really want to come out the lanes when you think you're safe. So you did exactly that, and now you get a lot of creeps and money for it. This, however, is a bit questionable because you're probably going against a Legion commander, and this Legion commander can kill you. And you don't know if she has blink or not, and this is around the time where she gets a 2-item timing, meaning she gets blink and blade mail, or I don't know, just 2 items. So by you going another wave here is a little risky. You see the Legion mid. So let's think about it here. You see, as the Juggernaut, you see them dive jungle or dive tower without creeps there. And you just shove this creep wave in. So you have no more creeps to farm from your free space. Gives you more the reason to TP there and Omni Slash somebody and assist your team. This is a great fight for you to take. As a carry, you need to be opportunistic. And what I mean by opportunistic is that you need to show up to things when they are a great opportunity to show up for things. You know you're going to get kills and you know you're not going to die. Those are the two things. You see, if I TP here, I'm going to get kills and I'm not going to die. Those are like the two things you always want to get from a fight. And in this fight, both of those things will most likely happen. And you're going to kill this PA, which has a huge, huge, huge power spike. Your sniper seems to think that shrapnel stacks. It does not anymore. It hasn't stacked in 10 years. So you eventually do TP, but what you need to realize is that you TP'd after this Dark Willow, meaning you're going to be slower. If you were to TP right here in the fog or right here in the fog, you would have killed both these, or at least LC. Because you would have had a faster TP and you would have been ahead of them. Good Omni Slash. Unlucky bounce. Holy cow. This is really unfortunate. Alright. Melee here. Go to jungle. Go jungle. Go jungle. Like, don't waste time. Go jungle. Send your healing ward to your Lina. Let her stay in the game. But you need to be as efficient as possible in your farming. No dilly-dallying. Especially with Blade Fury. When you're on Blade Fury, It's an immediate marathon. It's an immediate race. You are hitting creeps as efficiently as possible, and you're showing up to fight as opportunistically as possible and as efficiently as possible. But you immediately get to work, farm yourself over to this area so that you can show up the lane and clear this and then go back to jungle. The better you farm and the more creeps you farm depends on how well you balance hitting these creeps along with jungle creeps. So right now, at this point, I don't know which way you go. You can either go up here or you can go down here. If I were you, I see the LC mid, I see the PA mid, I would immediately run here because that is almost like a double wave. You'd be able to clear that. It would push these creeps under the tower, which will inadvertently create the creep equilibrium to come back to right here for you to farm again. So I really hope you go to the creeps. And you don't, and that's okay, and that's why you're here. If you were to go here, you wouldn't have died because you see people on the map. It's always important to look at your mini map when you're farming, especially as a carry. And you should have gone right here. Typically, this is dangerous. This would be a dangerous spot to farm, but you know it'd be safe. And this is where I come into the introduction of the idiot line. So we're going to take it in the instance that we are the dire. Tier 1, Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 2, Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 1, Tier 2, whatever, Tier 1, Tier 2. So at any given point, we're going to make this red. There is an idiot line. That is what I call it. The idiot line has helped many people that I've coached over the years. As a low MMR player, it's a simple rule of thumb to understand this idiot line. So when you're at the beginning of the game, when all towers are up, this is where the idiot line will default. If you cross over this idiot line, you are more likely to die because you are farther away from towers, you're farther away from your own vision, and you're closer to the enemy's towers where they can TP to, and you're closer to the enemy's vision. The idiot line is not static, however, or it's not static, it's dynamic. So one of the reasons why pros, and why you hear this a lot, is why pros like to kill towers early in the game, is because let's say this tower is killed. This idiot line now goes from there to here when this tower is killed. And the reason why that is for a couple of reasons. The first reason is that there is no spot for the enemy to TP to. They can't TP here to kill you when the idiot line is right here. They can't TP to kill you right here, so you can free farm a bit more safely here. Second reason is that, usually, let's say if the creeps were to come down and they were pushing through, like the creep wave was pushing, they would be able to go here and then they would die. So you would only have vision for possibly this amount. Creeps give vision and information. What I mean by that is they give actual vision, you see what's happening, but it gives information because it is very rare for a person to walk past a creep wave unless they see you. So unless they see you, they're not going to walk past this creep wave to go kill you. So if there's a creep wave right here, this idiot line is going into full effect rather than it is right here. Because the creeps are not going to die right here instead of right here. The third reason as to why killing towers is good and why this idiot line is going is going to go down is because it allows your team to safely put vision into their triangle or to wherever that tower is going to be. So like if this tower is dead, it would put vision here. So the idiot line is affected by two things. Well, I guess, it could be 3, but 2 things primarily. Well, I guess 3. Let's make it 3. The idiot line is affected by towers. So if, let's say, if these 3 were killed, the idiot line would be something like this. This allows your team to farm even more parts of the map, control more of the map. You kill this, it becomes even better. The second thing that can affect the idiot line is creeps. So let's say this is tower is dead, and the creeps. Let's say the idiot line. The idiot line could be like right here, even if this tower is dead, because it'd be unsafe to cross. But as soon as those creeps go right here, the idiot line is now here. This is just a general rule of thumb when you want to play safely on the map. The third thing that affects the idiot line is vision and heroes. So what I mean by that is if you see 3 heroes, or you see one of the heroes that can kill you in a pickoff in the mid lane, your idiot line becomes huge. This tower's dead. You can farm up to here, no issue. As long as you see this person here, you are fine to go. And another thing about the idiot line is vision. If you kill this tower and you get a ward here, you get a ward here, you can cover this triangle. You are now a lot safer to farm here. It's really hard to explain the idiot line without a person actually here, but I hope this helps a little bit when it comes to how you're going to make your choices when you want to farm. And this is really, really bad. As soon as you see any tower, like if you're looking at a mini map and you see this magical red blob right here, if you see this magical red blob and no green blobs, you need to get your ass over there and fucking hit those creeps, because you're going to lose out on so much golden experience for such a little amount of time that you can put into it. You can spend 5 seconds hitting creeps over here and get like 600 gold, whereas you can spend maybe 2 minutes, like a minute or 2 minutes of hitting creeps, and you won't even get that amount in the jungle. So I don't care about this creep. You see this, you run. Like, you run directly to it. You stop what you're doing and you run. Okay. This is next moment. You see LC, you see Bristle, you see 4 heroes on the map except for the PA, and the PA can't necessarily kill you. Also, make sure you're carrying a TP as a Juggernaut, please. As a Juggernaut, it looks like you play a lot of Juggernaut. One of its Juggernaut strengths is spend TP. You can spend TP, they can't stop your TP. So one of the first things you have to do in a game is look at the heroes. Who can stop my spend TP? Something that can pierce my spend. So things like Roar or Axe Call or, I don't know, like Black Hole or LC Duel. As soon as you see this LC Duel, or this LC on the map, you have a bajillion more space than you had before, because you can spend TP even if 3 heroes try and kill you. So hopefully you go and hit this. You go shove this wave into the tower again. Looks like you're going back jungle, you're going to think about fighting. So this is what I said earlier about opportunistic fighting. You're looking at this and you're like, okay, should I show up? Let's look at 10 seconds before. Messed up, go to spectator. You see LC bottom. You saw her a couple seconds ago. So at this point, you have what? Yasha, Battle Fury, level 12. So you're decently strong. You can pretty much kill this bristleback. At this point, it would have been beneficial for you to TP here or here and then Omni this bristleback, because the Moonlight's almost over. So this would have been a very nice fight for you to take, because you wouldn't have died, because you know the LC is not there. So you think about it, so let's see what you do. You decide to not take it and you keep farming creeps. That's not the worst decision in the world, because LC was going to get there anyways. But if you were to do it just a little bit earlier, you might have been able to get a really good kill and even more space for your team and yourself. One of the things as a carry that some carries are very good at and some are, not very good at is knowing how to play the map. Right now, let's pull up paint. You have focused on this side of the map primarily, like this portion of the map. That's okay. That's fine. But if you have a better understanding on how to more efficiently farm the map and how to play the map a bit better, you should be farming this side of the map as well. And how you do that is through this thing. So the reason why I want you to do this is for a couple reasons. One is you're not really putting a lot of pressure on the map by being up here. Sure, it's safe. Sure, you won't die. But you're not doing your team any favors, and you're not putting any pressure on the other side of the map, where this tower can die. So by you finding opportune moments to come through this twin gate and killing a wave, right here, when you know like the LC is on the other side of the map or something, that'll allow the creeps to push in, maybe kill this tower, and what it'll also do for your team as well is it'll force somebody to TP here away from this pressure and deal with these creeps. And it also helps you because all you have to do is go back to this twin gate, go over here, shove in this lane, go back to jungle. So not only have you created pressure, you've eliminated a creep wave that you wouldn't have eliminated before on the other side of the map safely. So your team's kind of chain feeding the mid lane. So this is another thing. I'm going to bring up paint again. You farming right here when the game is stale and even is okay. I'm okay with that. And you can maybe come through portal, come over here, take a wave, whatever, go back through portal. But what needs to happen, and I'm sure you've played against an AM that is like this, like an anti-mage that's just always ratting. He's always just all over the map, hitting creeps, hitting towers, yet list goes on. You can do that as Juggernaut right now. There's 5 heroes here attacking your mid tower. They're always killing your teammates. You're like, oh fuck, my team's feeding. I can't do anything. Like, I can see that. I get my items faster. No. What you can do is a lot more than you think you can. You can either do this play where you go top, you go through portal, you hit this tower, and you look at the map, make sure it's like LC's off the map. Okay, LC's off the map. I need to get in the fog. But you need to create pressure on the other side of the map. You sitting, hold on, and hitting this is doing nothing for your team, and it's hindering yourself because you're not farming as efficiently as you could. You could be right here hitting creeps and then hitting tower. And what this will do is, one, you will farm more efficiently. You will threaten a tower. Two, it will make these heroes make a decision. They have to make a decision to back off, defend this tower, or continue the pressure. So let's say they continue the pressure, they get the tier 2, which they're going to do anyways. You get a tower for your team. It gives more space for yourself and your team. But let's say they come back and they defend this tower. Well, then you just saved your tower. And it gives your team space to get vision up or whatever, make a smoke play, whatever. I don't know. It's Guardian. The last thing you want to be doing in this instance is farming in that jungle. Maybe you get a little snag here. Ooh. Nice little lunge. So we're going to go back and talk about opportunistic fighting, right? So you see here is like, I can get a bristleback kill. Nice little snag. But what you're doing here is actually a really bad play. You've created an opportunity for yourself to get this bristleback kill. but you're going to die for it, and you're going to lose out on the potential for doing this play, like I said, over here, over here. It seems like it's really hard to say this to somebody when it's not in my Discord channel and I can explain it to you. It seems like you want to make this play. You want to get this hero kill. I promise you that if you're a good enough player and you're able to clear these waves and then hit these towers, even if they kill this tower when they're threatening tier 3s, you will still win the game just by the amount of farm you have and by the amount of space you provided for yourself. By you making this play is probably the worst thing you could have done. Because you just lost all your momentum as the carry. You can get it back, but it's going to be even harder. So that's unfortunate. If I was you as a carry, I would have just bobbed off dust to myself if you're playing against Mirana, because that's really annoying. Plus, you can use the dust during Omni Slash if the Mirana wants to Moonlight. But yeah, you probably should just buy dust. You have an open slot, and it'll allow you to get that kill with Omni Slash. That would have been huge for you because they're split. Good Omni Slash. But let's pretend like that fight never happens. As a carry, you want to be greedy. You have heroes that are great at defending high ground. Lena, Sniper, Venge, like it's just amazing heroes for defending high ground. You need to make yourself on the opposite side of the map. You want to mirror what the enemy is pressuring. So run this way or TP this way. Make sure you have a TP to come back. But you need to create pressure on this side of the map, particularly. Because then you're farming this outside of the map while 5 heroes are farming this side of the map. And you're going to get way more out of it than they are going to get out of it. Also, please, for the love of God, you got to buy your items, man. You got to look forward to buying those items. Those are very important. There's such power spikes to you as a hero. But anyways, great Omni Slash. You're killing it right now. You know you can be farming more efficiently if you're below 10 CS a minute. Okay, so you're kind of getting into it. I'm actually happy that you did it. This is what you were supposed to be doing a little bit earlier, but you did it. But let's go back and look at what you could have done. I want you to look. So let's act like you are looking at this as you're farming. And you want to see opportunistic, right? Opportunistic, opportunistic. Word of the day, opportunistic. You're an opportunistic carry. You want to look at fights that you can TP to that you know you will kill and not die. Holy cow. It's like right here. LC used her blink. PA's out of position. They're completely split. You're level 18 Omni Slash. You're very strong. You TP here, you Omni. You get at least probably 2 kills. You can probably kill this PA too. This play right here could have possibly won you the game right now. If you were to pay attention to what's happening and then TP. They even go further. And you are creating pressure. You're doing this, right? But there needs to come a point where you're like, okay, I could kill an LC and I can kill PA and I would get a lot of golden XP for that. And I wouldn't die. So going forward in your games, I want you to focus on looking at your map and looking at opportunistic plays of TPs. Also make sure you're always carrying a TP, especially when you're on the other side of the map. It's probably one of the issues. Probably why you couldn't TP. Like every time you use a TP and you don't have one in your slot, buy one and ferry it to yourself. Alright. Alright, let's look what information you got. Whenever you look at a fight, you want to derive the information, right? Alright. So, there's no PA, there's no LC. Now, you can easily kill the Lich. You don't really care about the Mirana. The Mirana's going to leap away. So picking off the Lich is fine. Now, please, if you cannot use Omni Slash or Mirana right here because your team will not be able to kill this Bristleback most likely without your Omni Slash. So let's see how you you need to turn this way and kill this Omni Slash. Oh. So when you go into that fight, you need to look at the Lich, which is going to show up in a second. Be like, okay, I'm going to kill this guy and then go Omni the Bristle. Even right here. If I was here, I am mentally preparing myself to Manta as soon as she blinks to disjoint her dual animation and then Omni. Because you can kill this hero in one Omni. Oh, does he not have a blink? Yes, he didn't have a blink. Great Omni. So you understood your job. You go mid, you take an objective, looking good, and you back up. Make sure you buy yourself a TP. You always want to have a TP scroll. So at this point, never discount Roche. Alright? Roche is very important. Especially Guardian. Guardian's lobbies probably never take Roche. So if you're at a point where you feel static at this point in the game, you need to look to make a play on Roche. Getting these kills are great. Like right here. You go bottom. You go bottom, you take the tower, and you go Roche. You have healing ward, you're good at taking Roche. Tell your team, hey, let's go take Roche. You get Aegis. Immediately your guys' game is a lot better. Last thing you want to do is go back here. No. You go here, kill the tower, Roche. You get to be a playmaker. And play static. One of the issues with Jug is you need a way to hit people and not have them run away from you. You can't just be a one-trick pony with Omni Slash. So when it comes to itemization, look, you even queue up the Scotty. It's perfect. You can get a Scotty, you can get a Basher, you can get Silver Edge, something that gives you mobility where you can hit people without them running away. Or to burst them down. You need to stop being scared here. You gotta hit somebody. So a little bit of some, you don't really know who to focus in fights. You're kind of just all over the place. Look how much damage you do, boy. You do some damage. Your Venge has swap, but she doesn't want to use it back. So Silver Edge is also good. I like that. So you just need to work on being comfortable hitting people, knowing when you're strong. Know that you are a juggernaut who hopefully went the Blade Lifesteal. Yeah, you went Blade Lifesteal, so you're very strong. You can out-trade anybody in fights. Very good for going Mindbreaker. So make sure you drop your tier 3 token for your team. Good Omni Slash. But good stuff. So at this point in the game, I don't think I've seen you use your Manta style once. That is a telltale sign that you need to go Sanjin Yasha. Sanjin Yasha would have allowed you to man up a bit better and be tankier, and it would have allowed you to be less of a threat by duel, because duel is it lasts less, lasts 20% less, 22% or something. And if you're not using the active, then there's no purpose into buying the Manta style, other than 10 extra agility or the extra stats or whatever. But you should 100% get Sanjin Yasha this game. At this point, I'm telling my team, Roche, go top, Roche. You can even solo Roche, probably. Also, another thing is you want to be saving for buyback. This is a very close game. You don't want to not have buyback. You can look at this little tip and trick. So if you hover over this, you can see how much you need for buyback and how much you need for buyback and whatever item you're queuing up. So make sure you always have money for buyback in this scenario because you can very much lose if you just die right here. If you get dueled right here and just die, you know, it's game over. And your team's going to get mad at you. You need to do your best as to not... Good ward spot. You notice this here's a ward there and you pinged it for your team. You need to know how to make plays. Take Roche, take objectives, you know, group up with your team. You can't play like you're solo. You also need to stop, like, you can, it seems like you're the type of player that gets in a trance by creeps. You need to take objectives. It's not as simple as we team wipe them, we go down mid. You can't do that. You have to take Roche. You have to pressure certain sides of the map before your LC picks off everybody like that, or your PA or whatever. That is extremely risky. You had some balls of steel for that one. So in these fights, at this point in the game, we want to look over how we want to take these fights. You want to look at your previous fights, how they went, how you're going to go forward in these next fights. So, Bristleback. Let's think about Bristleback. Bristleback he is a very survivable. He's been very hard to kill. So you might want to be omning him. But if the LC and PA both jumping together, you want to omni those two together. So you have very good omni targets. But the hardest person to kill on the enemy team is Bristleback simply because you can't hold him down. These two, when they jump in, they're in. You can kill them. So you might want to focus. So you're not gonna get killed by anyone. You're very tanky. Like you have blade light, steel, and everything. Like you have a lot of freedom in this fight. You're not gonna die. Nice Omni Slash is exactly what you need to do. At this point in the game, you're just spread too thin. Nice. You still have Silver Edge. It was a really bad miss. Be aware of your items. Use your Silver Edge. Go run them down. Alright, so you guys just killed all of them. Let's see what you guys do now. You see one buyback. Oh, Omni. So think about it in the past. It's been very hard to kill this guy. He's probably the one thing standing in the way from you guys going into killing these racks. Use your Omni. You can kill this PA, you can kill this LC without Omni. You cannot kill this guy without Omni. You need to use your Omni. I know it looks like he's going to die and everything, but something like this, where he gets frost shielded and everything and he lives, one is another reason to buy Nullifier. Nullifier is really good this game. You should have probably bought it instead of MKB. But two, you need to make sure this guy dies. That play right there could have possibly won you guys the game. Okay, big thing. If you want to substitute an item, substitute your boots. As an Omni, or as a Juggernaut, you have two different ways to attack people. They're really strong. 3, Silver Edge as well. Put your Battle Fury in. 65 damage. It's really nice. At this point, it's a 3v3. Revenge is buyback. Make a play. Go make a play. You're strong. You just got your Ags. Go Silver Edge on that LC. Right click her a bunch, and as soon as she starts running away, just throw out the good old Swift Slash, and you may kill her. Do something to stop this push. You may feel like you're super weak. Don't focus on those guys. Right here. She's alone. Go Swift Slash her. Go hit her. You're strong. Use your items. Oh, you see how much damage that did? You see how much damage that did? It's crazy. You gotta trust yourself. You gotta use your items. And I feel bad for you. Like this, you played well, but there's some things you could have done here. So let's go over them. Number one thing I think you could have done better is pressure. When you're on this side of the map, when you're on this side of the map, an enemy is pressuring this, you need to mirror them and create pressure somewhere on a tower. Pressure here, pressure here. Get them away from this area, create false pressure, and allows you to farm faster. Number two, itemization. Going for Manta style and then going for MKB were your two mistakes. You either need to choose MKB or Silver Edge. Silver Edge is always better than MKB. If you go both, you're taking up an item slot away from yourself that can be used for something different. You were having trouble, you were getting kited by enemies, so you could have gone Scotty, you could have gone Nullifier. Nullifier would be able to purge a lot of things, and Scotty would be able to deal with the 3 hearts that are on the enemy team. And having Sange and Yasha will allow you to survive duel and get more lifesteal from your blade from level 20 talent. So itemization needs to be worked on just a little bit, as well as I guess I'll put slash in efficient of farming. If you were with me right now, I'd be able to go into more depth as to like what you would think is the best way to farm, what is the way you farmed and everything, etc. But you need to be better at efficiently farming the map where you have that good creep jungle balance, where you're hitting jungle, but you're also hitting lane creeps. Because lane creeps are always worth it. More golden experience for the amount of time you put into it. Number 3, Roche. Very important. Not enough players at your rank know how to use or go for Roche, but you need to do it. It is very important. By you getting Aegis, allows you to have 2 lives, which means you can survive through a duel and still live, or you can survive through a PA. Like it's just good. You just trust me. Take Roche. It will change your game. It will change your pubs. You will win your pubs. Take Roche. Number 4, opportunities. I hope I'm not spelling this wrong. Be clowned on. Opportunities. Very important. TP scroll. Very important. You need to make sure you always have a TP scroll because you need to be as opportunistic as possible with TPing in for fights. I'm pretty convinced that if you TP back into that fight where I said earlier to TP in like tier 4s, you would have probably won the game pretty convincingly. You would have gotten 2 very important kills and you would have relieved the pressure off of your side of the map or on the, I guess, your base. But you need to be more opportunistic. You need to be more aware of what's happening in the game. Number 5. Use your items. Items / omni targets. There's a lot of moments in that game where you were not using your Silver Edge. I don't think you used your Manta once, but you didn't use your Silver Edge to hunt people down. And very important, actually, Omni target is you didn't necessarily. You had great Omnis. Don't get me wrong, you had a lot of great Omnis, but you didn't understand later into the game that you needed to use your Omni on the Bristleback. Like that's the Omni should be used as something to kill people that you can't usually kill. that you get kited by. And bristleback is just very much an example. Very hard to kill. You can hit him with break. You can break him with your silver edge and then Omni, and then you'll be able to kill him and then get him out of the fight. You can fight everybody else. You're fine. You're very strong. But you need to understand that bristleback should 100% be your Omni target for that game. Also, another thing that they really mention is tormentors. Juggernaut can solo tormentors with healing ward. If you were to hit a tormentor like 2 or 3 times and then put down your healing ward, you'll be able to solo it pretty convincingly. And tormentors are very important for your team. But other than that, man, I will say my expectations for you as a Guardian player were a bit lower. You have very strong CS abilities. You have a decent understanding of creep aggro in the lane, and you have a decent idea of how to kill in the lane. What you need to get better in the lane is you need to understand when you're strong. You need to get better at leveling your skills correctly, and you need to be better at understanding how to efficiently farm the lane. But yeah, man, this is a great replay review. I would love to go over these replay reviews one-on-one so you can ask questions. It's a lot easier if you're able to ask questions and we can go into more detail. If you have any questions for me, hit me up in the Discord, hit me up in the ticket. Pretty much available all the time, and I'll answer your question on the spot. But yeah, that's it for tonight. See ya. Good luck in your pubs.